He's ahead of the pack. He just puts it on the
And there is Victor Wembanyama. Oh, mama.
That's the scariest thing that we've ever seen.
When people talk about rebuilds in the NBA, they usually talk about patience. 5 years, 7 years, a slow climb from the lottery to legitimacy. But what the San Antonio Spurs just pulled off, it didn't feel patient. It felt calculated, ruthless, surgical, and somehow fast. This is the story of how the Spurs went from the bottom of the Western Conference to one of the most feared young cores in basketball in record time. The collapse nobody wanted to admit. After the dynasty years led by Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili, the Spurs tried to hold onto relevance. They refused to tank. They refused to bottom out. They refused to admit it was over. Even after the dramatic exit of Kawhi Leonard, the organization kept competing. But eventually, reality hit. The roster wasn't good enough. The West was brutal. And mediocrity is the worst place to live in the NBA. So for the first time in decades, San Antonio made a cold, calculated decision. They embraced the rebuild. Step 1, tank with purpose. This wasn't reckless losing. This was strategic losing. The Spurs committed to development. They moved veterans, they stockpiled picks, they gave young players real minutes. They weren't trying to win 35 games. They were trying to change their future. And then came the moment that changed everything. Lottery night. A 14% chance. One bounce of a ping-pong ball. And suddenly the franchise had a generational cornerstone, Victor Wembanyama. The Wembanyama effect. You don't rebuild slowly when you land a 74 unicorn with guard skills. You accelerate. From day one, Wembanyama changed the geometry of the court. He wasn't just tall, he was mobile, skilled, fearless. He blocked shots from the three-point line. He hit step-back threes. He handled like a wing. But here's what shocked the league. He didn't look overwhelmed. While most rookies struggle with efficiency, physicality, and defensive schemes, Wembanyama looked like he had been preparing for this moment his entire life. The rebuild clock didn't reset. It sped up. The hidden genius, infrastructure. People think the rebuild was just luck. They're wrong. The Spurs still had the greatest long-term advantage in basketball: stability. Gregg Popovich didn't panic. He didn't chase flashy trades. He didn't mortgage draft capital for quick fixes. Instead, he did what San Antonio has always done: develop. Every young player understood their role. Every mistake became a teaching moment. Every possession had structure. While other rebuilding teams spiral into chaos, the Spurs built habits. And habits win championships. Surrounding the star, a generational talent is nothing without a supporting cast. San Antonio knew this. They targeted players who complemented Wembanyama's strengths, not duplicated them. They prioritized high IQ defenders, playmakers who could feed the post, floor spacers who punished double teams, guards who could push tempo. The front office quietly made one of the smartest moves of the rebuild, acquiring a true floor general to stabilize the offense. When the Spurs added veteran leadership in the backcourt, it allowed Wembanyama to focus on dominating, not organizing. And that balance changed everything. Defensive identity returned. For years, the Spurs were known for discipline. Then the rebuild hit and the defense collapsed. But with Wembanyama anchoring the paint, everything flipped. Opponents stopped attacking the rim. Drivers hesitated. Shooters altered releases. It wasn't just blocks. It was fear. Suddenly, San Antonio climbed the defensive rankings at a pace nobody predicted. A young team defending like veterans. That's when the league started paying attention. The culture advantage. Here's what separates San Antonio from every other rebuilding team. They've done this before. When David Robinson got injured in the 90s, they didn't panic. They drafted Duncan. Dynasty. This franchise understands windows, timing, patience. While teams like the Sacramento Kings and Charlotte Hornets spent years wandering in rebuilding purgatory, San Antonio executed with precision. No chaos, no desperation, no ego battles, just development. The Western Conference shock. The Western Conference doesn't allow shortcuts. You're battling teams like the Denver Nuggets, the Golden State Warriors, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Dallas Mavericks, and yet within a shockingly short span, the Spurs stopped looking like a lottery team. They started stealing games, then controlling games, then closing games. The rebuild wasn't theoretical anymore. It was real. Draft capital, the secret weapon. While everyone focused on Wembanyama highlights, the Spurs were quietly stacking future assets. Multiple first-round picks, swap rights, flexibility. That's how you rebuild fast.
NBA.
Victor rolling to the bucket. Oh, authority over Shankar. Count the basket and the foul.
15 to 20 years from now, the GOAT conversation is going to go like this. MJ, Braun, and Wendy. Those are the three names that are going to come up in the GOAT conversation. Because if this man stays healthy, right, he's going to be arguably the best defensive player we've ever seen.
All the film that you've seen on him before coming into the league is what he does. But I think as he gets older and he gets, more efficient, he makes the game look a lot easier, I think it's going to be ridiculous.
You create optionality. If a star becomes available, you're ready. If your young core blossoms, you're flexible. If injuries hit, you're protected. The rebuild wasn't just about one season. It was about sustained dominance. Player development explosion. Here's something nobody expected. The role players improved faster than projected. Young wings started hitting threes consistently. Bench units played with chemistry. Second-year players made third-year leaps. And that's where the rebuild truly accelerated. Because when a franchise player rises and the supporting cast grows simultaneously, that's how you skip stages. National attention returns. For years, San Antonio felt invisible. Small market, no headlines, no hype. Then suddenly, primetime games, media debates, analyst breakdowns. The Spurs weren't just rebuilding. They were becoming must-watch again. Wembanyama wasn't just a rookie. He was a phenomenon. The psychological shift. Rebuilding teams usually hope to compete. The Spurs expected. That mentality matters. Close losses stopped feeling acceptable. Development turned into accountability. Effort became non-negotiable. And when a young team stops accepting moral victories, the climb accelerates. Why this rebuild was different. Most teams tank, draft high, miss, reset, repeat. The Spurs tank with structure, draft generational talent, develop immediately, add complementary pieces, reclaim identity. There was no wasted motion, no panic trades, no chemistry disasters, just execution. The future is terrifying. Here's the scary part. They're ahead of schedule. Wembanyama is still developing physically. The roster is still young. The draft capital remains loaded. The rebuild might already be complete. And if that's true, the Western Conference is in trouble. Because the Spurs don't build contenders. They build dynasties. Final thought. People will say this was luck. But luck doesn't build infrastructure. Luck doesn't create culture. Luck doesn't develop players at this speed. The San Antonio Spurs didn't just rebuild. They engineered the fastest turnaround in modern NBA history. And if this trajectory continues, we might be witnessing the birth of the next great era in San Antonio basketball. One ping-pong ball, one generational star, One perfectly executed plan. The rebuild wasn't long. It was lethal, and the league may never recover.